This is Trend Following Radio, where great thinking comes alive. Nobel Prize winners, legendary traders, best-selling authors, and the pros that know what drive us irrational human beings. I am your host, Michael Covel. Not filtered, raw, honest. That's my passion. This podcast recently hit top 5 on iTunes. Tim Ferriss was ahead of me. James Altucher was ahead of me. Behind me, Jim Cramer, Susie Orman. Of course, these things ebb and flow. But why is it this particular podcast with this particular host has listeners? It's not like there's some major distribution outlet behind it, like the one I'm about to talk about. No, I have stumbled into an opportunity. And the opportunity is this. People don't want to hear bullshit. At least some people. At least there is some audience out there that does not want to hear bullshit. I'm not saying I'm perfect. I'm not saying my guests are perfect. But I'm trying to curate a message. I'm trying to curate voices in such a way that smart messages make it out in long form, no sound bites. So today, something a little different, not so different. Clearly, I've had an ongoing, for those that have seen my work, especially in my book, Trend Commandments, and if you've not seen this chapter in Trend Commandments, where I discuss an appearance by David Harding in 2011 on CNBC with Joe Kernan, email me. I will send it to you. The other day, David appeared again on CNBC. Always the good Brit that he is, very polite. And he was on there with Joe Kernan. Let me go ahead and let that clip play.
We pay no attention, really, to central bank policy. Our computers just read the prices from the markets around the world, and they subject them to the usual sort of battery of tests that our programmers and scientists have designed, and then they place a bet one way or the other. Sometimes we get it right, sometimes we get it wrong, but we get it right slightly more often than we get it wrong.
So the computers are telling you what to do, but the central bank is sort of, they're definitely involved in what will eventually be the outcome of the European economy. But what are the computers telling you will be the outcome?
I think the central banks, in a way they try to steer the economy through managing expectations. There's a lot of effort by bankers and hedge funds to try and second guess what they're going to do next. And that all feeds into the market. The market is reasonably efficient. We don't bother trying to second guess what the bankers are doing. We just follow the market. And all that information that's being effectively leaked into the market by the central bankers and the other hedge funds, I guess we pick up on that maybe. I don't really mind why it is that we make money out of trends, just that they occur and we are able to and have done for a very long time.
All right, so what are key trends you're seeing right now, and give us some that we can count on lasting more than today?
Well, as I've always said to your viewers, we have no ability to forecast the future that is useful to them. It's only by investing in these trends over and over and over again, over years and years and years, that you end up coming out ahead. We are at the moment in the same sort of stance we've been for a while, still long of stocks because they're trending up, and still long of bonds because against expectation they've been trending up as well. But we're short the US dollar and we're short of gold. More interestingly, since I'm on the floor of the Merc, we've been short of the meats. We've been long of the meats, long of the cattle and the hogs for the last year, and they've had one of the best bull markets that I can ever remember.
Now I have to assume, right? I have to assume that Joe Kernan, smart man, is prepared for his guest, who's been a trader for 25 plus years and currently runs a $25 billion fund. The modicum of respect would be to know what the his guest does. You would think. The first question, the computers tell you what the outcome will be. What do you mean the computers tell you what the outcome will be? The computers do nothing except automate David Harding's rules. They don't tell you what the outcome will be. No one knows what the outcome will be. The computers are a system. They're a set of rules to keep you in the game, to look for the trends. So again, it's like Kernan's not even prepared to ask the questions. Now you might be thinking, Mike, you're sitting back and you're hating. You don't like Joe. No, this isn't personal. I am a person. I run my business. I have my voice. I don't work for the machine. Joe Kernan is a character on a machine, in a machine called CNBC. That's it. I mean, clearly, look, CNBC has an agenda. The agenda is really simple. You bring people on and they make picks and they make predictions and they talk about what's going to happen tomorrow. And if it doesn't happen, no one knows because they've got a new round of people on the next day offering a new round of picks, predictions, and forecasts for apparently seriously minded investors and traders. The second question that Joe asks of Harding. So what are the key trends that we can see lasting more than a day? Now, again, this is not my first rodeo in critiquing Joe Kernan when he interviews David Harding. You can see it over the last 3 years. Lasting more than a day? What does he think he is? Does he think Harding is a high-frequency day trader? Trading microseconds? Again, is this how ill-prepared Joe Kernan is? I don't think so. I think there's something more at play. Just good old-fashioned propaganda. Nothing wrong with that. Everyone has an agenda. And I went onto Twitter and I posted, Joe Kernan really does not get trend following, ? Or it's an act, ? David Harding tries again. And I linked to that video that I just played. Now, I want to interject here really quick, just a little snippet, which I think kind of puts what follows in place.
I'm in charge.
Do you feel in charge?
Pure evil.
I'm necessary evil.
See, what's really interesting about what follows, my exchange on Twitter with Joe Kernan, is Kernan really doesn't get that the distribution of messaging has changed. And that a guy with a microphone and a podcast can reach millions of listens. So anyways, after I posted that first tweet, where I kind of said, look, is it all an act? I mean, Joe's not stupid. He must know what Harding actually does. He must know he's generally a trend-following trader, finding an edge. Kernan replied to me. He said, after nothing matters but the trend, and here's what's trending, what is left to ask? I replied, granted, it's not soundbite trading strategy, but you can get David to break it apart and teach. Kernan replied, who said it was? Break down what? The algorithms? Seriously, what's the next question? I replied, no fancy algo to trend following, but for all those times he's been on, does the audience still know anything about his strategy? ? Kernan responded, he uses proprietary quantitative mathematical models to identify trends. Come on, Cronkite, what's the next question? Ooh, somebody doesn't like being questioned. And for those of you that don't know, Cronkite, reporter, head of news at CBS, decades ago. He says he uses proprietary quantitative mathematical models to identify trends. Come on, Cronkite, what's the next question? I replied, why does he enter? Why does he exit? How much does he bet each trade? Trend following is not new. Many traders doing similar. I continued, Get him to talk about behavioral finance, manias, black swans, sources of his gains, trading only price action, another area. Kernan replied, he enters and exits when the models dictate. There's no there. Easy to sit home and kvetch, though, isn't it? Back to the Bain clip, right? Somebody thinks they're in control, but they're not really in control. I replied, I've interviewed him several times. Very open guy. Kernan says, oh yeah, great for an interview. Absolutely no predictions or forecasts about what might happen in the future. I replied, so the interviewee blows if he can't forecast tomorrow? ? I continued, why have a trader on who does not predict and then ask for a prediction? ? Kernan, why wrestle with pigs when all you get is dirty? Toodles. Look, I absolutely have no personal beef with this guy. I don't know him. He's just a face for a big network with a big agenda to sell ad dollars. And he doesn't like it that someone just pulled his pants down. And so the end result was I got blocked on Twitter. Now I feel like that's a damn fine day of work. A fine day of work. Right? It's always fun. It's always fun to take a lance and put it into the system and pop the boil. Always fun. There was absolutely no reason our Twitter dialogue cannot continue. Everybody can go look at the conversation. I don't think I was out of line. But eventually, somebody realized, oh shit, this guy's going to keep asking questions that I can't answer. And what it ultimately leads back to is that he's not prepared. Well, that's one option. He's either not prepared or it's an agenda. It's an acting job. Now you might say to yourself, well, why does David Harding, who's a billionaire, who's managing $25 billion, much of it in trend following models, why does he need to come on CNBC? Oh, come on. Are you serious? If somebody gives you a microphone and someone gives you a stage and they give you an audience, you go on, regardless of the questions. The audience out there that's sitting in a bar half drunk, they're going to love Kernan's questions. They're going to love Kernan's conclusions. But for those people that have never heard of David Harding, have never heard of trend trading, they're going to watch the interview. They're going to hear somebody say something interesting, and they're going to go, oh, wow, that's intriguing. I want to find out more. So damn straight, if I'm David Harding, I'm taking the microphone, I'm taking the stage, I'm taking the audience. I don't care what questions they ask me. And it really is, if you go back and look at Harding's 5 or 6 interviews on CNBC, it's a great job of getting his message across, regardless of what the questions are. As I go out today, thinking about this discussion of working for the man, right? Having a debate with somebody who has to put an outfit on and go sit on a stage under lights at a studio somewhere in North Jersey every day. That kind of everyday existence is just not fun to me. And I don't think it's fun to any of the great traders out there either. That's why they chose their direction. Look at this from a bigger picture perspective. What is the agenda of an operation like CNBC? What is the agenda of a guy like Joe Kernan? What's the agenda of a guy like Mike Covel? My agenda is pretty damn transparent. Their agenda ain't transparent at all. Always, again, be careful about the working for the man. Working for the man has all kinds of handcuffs. I see a time when those awake will understand how to make money in up, down, and surprise markets. Whether new trader or experienced, college student or financial advisor, protecting against a crash, or just trying to make a lot of money, trend following offers everyone an answer in uncertain times. To get started immediately, send me an email, michael@covel.com. I will send you the right trend following steps to take along with my free video. But if you want to buy and hold, trust the government and trust Wall Street, this is absolutely not for you.